Good morning, everyone. This is Noah Gutierrez with Diversified Product Development, and today we will be doing a virtual demo slash webinar on the line lifter products that we have to offer. Now, more in particular, this is what we would call a single line pick. To some, it might be called a single phase pick. Those of you that are very familiar with the LineWise product brand, we're known for the triple line lifter that we have, where you pick up three phases at one time while completely energized and have the option to pick up static lines. And so the triple line lifter versus the single line picks is what we're looking at today. As a point of interest, we've had some customers that they would prefer to pick up three individual phases at one time rather than use a triple line lifter. For reasons I won't mention here in this webinar today, but there are reasons why they want to do that. It's not necessarily a standard practice, so to speak, to where it's required for certain reasons. It's just a certain preference they have. But to pick up a single line pick is something that we offer the option to do. If you're not into the triple line lifter, some of the benefits are that the triple line lifter is much heavier than that of a single line pick that we're going to show you today. And so maybe it's due to capacity in some cases and the machinery that they have. That would be a good logical reason to use a single line pick. Perhaps maybe you're going to pick up just one single line to change out insulators on a structure, and you do not have to have all three phases lifted up at one time. There's different reasons as to why you might want to use this product, but those are some of the things that I can think of right offhand. Now, Dave Packerbush, are you with us this morning?
But of course.
Of course you are. Great. Hey, any other reasons, Dave, that you can think of why a customer may want to use a single line pick product from LineWise?
Give to work one phase at a time would be the easiest. You don't have to pick up all three, right? You just pick up one, easier to move around and maneuver on narrow right-of-ways. But yeah, just like I say, to give you the ability to pick up one at a time to change insulators or whatever you have to do.
Very good. So those of you that might be on the call today that have never met Dave Packerbush, he is primarily our Western Division field manager, but currently he's covering everywhere that we need him to go. So Dave, thank you very much for your input there and for being part of the LineWise team. So today we're going to go ahead and get into the website here. Today, something else that we have to show you at the end of this presentation is we actually have a product that's called an LL-6-4500. That is a manual version of one of the line lifters that we have, or phase lifter, if you're familiar with the term phase lifter. We use the term line lifter, so LL stands for line lifter. And we're going to go out to the shop floor today. You get to see the new shop that we have. It's a 60,000 square foot facility. We will not be doing a full tour, but you'll be seeing some of it as you walk out to the product. And if you stick around and you haven't heard about it, we're going to show you a glimpse of a new product that we're working on that will be coming out by LineWise at Utility Expo coming up in the last week of September here. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the website this morning here. So utility, well, first of all, we always go to line-wise.com, right? And then you go to utility. And for this product, you'd go to utility transmission. You might also find it under energized line work and other locations. I haven't said this in a while, but typically we have it in several different locations because not everybody calls a product the same thing. So for example, we call them line lifters. You might call it a phase lifter, even though it's just a single line pick. You might call it a conductor lifter. So for that reason, we put it under various product names here or divisions. And then you can hopefully find it a lot easier. But I always go to utility transmission for this particular product. And there's two different versions that we have on our website of the single line picks. And we're going to look at the line lifter version first. There's one called HLL hydraulic line lifter. It's very much the same, but it will say something. They're going to be pretty much the same, except one's going to be hydraulic and one's going to be non-hydraulic. And so here you can see that you have the brochure. You can see a picture of how a single line pick is used. So why is the term that they use single line pick? Well, because it's picking up one single line right now, or one single phase. I'm going to download this brochure right quick and take a look at it. Here you can see the picture of this will be, while it's not stated here, this is what we call an LL-6-4500. So the LL, it stands for line lifter. 6 is 6 feet of clear span, and the 2500 is 2,500 pounds of capacity. Now, the way that it will work is it'll work straight out in line as you see here, or you can pivot it going straight up. The way that we've designed it is it's the same way, or same capacity, either straight out or sticking straight up. Now, for you engineers and people that are aware of loading conditions and things of that nature, you will know that you have more capacity going straight up than being straight out like this. We decided to keep it simple on some of the line lifters where we could and keep it the same capacity all the way around. On some of the larger ones, you only have the choice of pointing straight up because of the max capacity that we're looking at, like we'll see here in just a moment. But down here, you can see where it was the full application. This was being used on a digger derrick, and it was on the end of their fiberglass section. And then we had the LL-6-2500 here out at the end. Now, there are various models that we have. There's a version that's called LL-5-1000, right? So that's a line lifter with 5 feet of clear span and 1,000 pounds of capacity. So there's various versions, but in general, they all come with some kind of wire holder configuration, whether it be a single conductor, whether it be a bundle conductor of 2, or even on some of the larger models where you have a bundle conductor of 3. So, or they call them tri-bundle as well. You can see there that we mentioned on the brochure, it has a dual bundle lifter there. Something that's not mentioned, but is available on the larger ones is a tri-bundle. The clear fiberglass length and capacity. So we use fiberglass, right? There's some single line picks out there by other competitors that use polymer insulators. We do not prefer to use polymer insulators because there's a certain type of breakdown that can happen within the fiberglass rod inside of the polymer insulator, and that's not visible to anyone. So what we do is we prefer to use the fiberglass method, because in doing that, what happens is it's something that is very clear. You can see the fiberglass. It's not hidden by polymer or anything else. You can see if there's any visible damage on the fiberglass. You can see if there's a desiccant canister that we'll get a closer look at here later today. We have one on this LL-6-4500 on the floor, but you'll be able to see the desiccant. And the desiccant canister system by LineWise uses blue desiccant, and blue indicates that everything is dry inside of the fiberglass section, whereas pink desiccant or pink crystals starting to form in the desiccant will indicate that moisture is detected and the desiccant would need to be changed out. So it's very straightforward. I've often said that the desiccant canister is like a clear go, no-go type symbol. You quickly look over the fiberglass, and if it looks fine and there's no damage to the welds, then you know you're good there. Look at the desiccant canister system, you know everything's good inside because of the blue desiccant. Go to work. It's very simple. We got different designs from, it says 161 to 500 kV, but in reality, it's whatever the clear span is that we can offer you is what is going to determine what kV rating it's good for. I mentioned this yesterday in yesterday's webinar. As you know, that we have 2 of these webinars, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, every 3 weeks on a different product or a different subject. And one of the things mentioned yesterday was that in some cases, depending on what company you're at, what part of the country you're in as well, determines how much clear span fiberglass you need in order to work on a certain kV rating. For example, these aren't the real numbers, but let's say it's 115 kV and let's say face to ground needed is 4 feet. Well, that might be on the east side, right? But on the west side, it might be 5 feet, or it might be 4 feet 6 inches. We've seen one where one company I mentioned yesterday where they had one that was even a half inch longer than what we had, and we had to go and make those changes. But we were accommodating. We didn't just tell them, "Hey, this is all that we can do." There's a lot of manufacturers that'll do that, and that's not what we do. We want to be there for our customers, and we want to get them what they need to meet their standards that they have set within their company. Different clear span fiberglass determines what you can use it with. Now, if you want us to tell you what we are recommending, we're looking at the OSHA requirements, and we see what they require for face to ground clearance. Now, ultimately, our products are tested on higher voltages. We send them to Hubble Power Systems in Centralia, Missouri, here in the USA, and we have them tested at 1 times the rated voltage, 2 times the rated voltage, and then 3 times the rated voltage. And then we check for flashover on the 3 times rated voltage. So that's how they get tested before they leave our facility. All lower voltage products are just tested locally at 100 kV per foot. Typically, anything that's going to be under 100 kV. So like your 69 and your 72. Anything that's going to be over 138 kV, we're going to have a corona ring and test band shield that come with the product. It's just something that we do as a standard because of the standards that are out there in the industry today, which I believe is A92.2 is what we're following to come up with when we install the corona ring and test band shield. So that's the brochure on that. Going back to the website, and just real quick, I'd like to show you the HLL. So the difference, again, we're going to have mainly 2 big models in the HLL. So the HLL stands for hydraulic line lifter. Instead of LL for line lifter, we got HLL. And then in the HLL, what we have is we have 2 different models, which is going to be the HLL 10-4000. And then we're also going to have the HLL 10-8000, recently released within the last 12 months, I believe it was. We had a contractor that was looking for a capacity of 8,000 pounds, and we developed it. Shortly after that, another customer needed one, but in truth, there are probably 4 of these in the USA today. So not everybody has high capacity like this, but it is available should it be needed. Again, it was a product that did not exist, but the customer that needed it, we were able to get it to them. The main differences between the two, between the LL and the HL, this is a hydraulic line lifter, right? So it has a self-contained hydraulic power unit, has its own battery, everything you need. All you got to do is mount it to the end of the crane, and we supply the adapter that comes with that. And then you use a radio remote control. Basically, on the HPU, you flip the switch to on, and then you get the radio remote. From that, you can articulate it all the way up into the position as you see on the screen right now. In this particular instance, we're using it with a dual bundle. As previously mentioned, there's also a tri-bundle option as well for the HLL model. Again, this is high voltage. This was on 345 kV. So we already have the corona ring installed that you can see here. And this is a test band shield. And then right underneath the test band shield, you got the test band. It's kind of hard to see, but right here is where the desiccant canister, LineWise desiccant canister system is located. So you can clearly see it from the side of the unit before going to work. And later on out in the shop floor, I'll show you how we remove that desiccant canister to change out that desiccant. I'm not going to change out the desiccant, but I'm going to show you how to remove it. This here, you can see the hydraulic cylinder as well. That's the main differences between the two. And then, like I said, the higher capacity. So again, here you can see the total unit weight, with and without the skid. They both come with skids. Something that we didn't do for a long time was supply skids for the units. And that was something that Dave Packerbush brought to the table and says, guys, we got to start putting skids on these units because there's just no easy way to mount them. And that's what we've started doing. Capacity, Again, 4,000 and 8,000 pounds for these units. Now you might ask, can we do hydraulic line lifters on some of the LL models? Sure. It doesn't exist yet, but if that's something that you were interested in, we could take an LL-6-2500 and turn it into an HLL with no problem at all. On the bundle wire spacing or conductor spacing, it's 18 inches. If you have something different, we can make that happen. The overall length of the main units here, 14.6 and 18.4. Clear span fiberglass is the 10-foot. As always, the middle number represents the length of clear span fiberglass. Articulation, 120 degrees with that hydraulic cylinder. And something of this size and this weight, you're not going to get it on a digger derrick. It's just too much capacity. Well, I say you're not going to get on a digger derrick. You need a big transmission style digger derrick, like an Elliott or a Terex, that would be able to handle this kind of weight. Maybe an Altec DT105 might come close, but would have to consult with Altec on that if they're willing to work with us. So that's the HLL versus the LL. Again, you got the brochure for now. We'll download the 8,000 version for now. Here you can see a little bit more close up where the desiccant canister is located on the side. Again, with the adapter, which is this orange section right here, you could buy an adapter today to fit the crane of your choice. And 6 months, 3 years, 4 years down the road, if you want to buy another crane or have a second crane as a backup, you could order another adapter later, and then you could transfer this unit back and forth between the two. To change out the adapter, it's basically 2 pins that you would remove. You can see one right here and the other one right here. You would simply unbolt the keeper for the pin on both sides here and pull those pins out while supporting the unit. Of course, you wouldn't want to just have it in midair. As a point of interest, I noticed yesterday, there is an IWP mounted to the side of this crane. So those of you watch today, you get a special treat, right? So there is an IWP. This was one of the first cranes we mounted an IWP to. Now, what is an IWP, you might be saying? It stands for Insulated Work Platform. It is a product that will turn your boom truck crane into an insulated aerial lift. No more spending millions of dollars on Bronto skylifts to be able to get up to insulated power lines, and then that Bronto just sits there and Bronto is just the name I'm thinking of right now, but they Altec and other people also offer them to where all you have is an insulated aerial lift, and that's all it does all the time. When you don't need it, it just sits there. What's the plus side to using this IWP is you can use it as a crane when you need a crane. You can use it as an insulated aerial lift when you need an insulated aerial lift, and at a fraction of the cost of a dedicated aerial lift. So that's that special treat I was offering there. No extra charge for that. Yes.
Hey, we also offer the ability to turn that IWP into a single phase pick too.
Very good, Dave Peckerbush. That is correct. So on the end of an IWP, imagine this is the IWP, right, for now. Okay, but this is a lot smaller than IWP. Where I'm guessing on the dimensions here, if this piece of glass here is, I don't know, let's call it 8 by 10 inches. An IWP might be more like 12 by 16 or something, right? And where this is 10 foot of clear span fiberglass, that IWP might be 15 foot of clear span fiberglass. So it's a lot bigger, but at the end of the IWP, instead of putting a work platform, man basket, or what term you might be familiar with, platform or what have you, you put a wire holder in its place, and now you have an insulated or another line lifter from one of the largest models, 500 kV or 765 kV line lifter. So as always, Diversified is putting as much diversification into its products to give you the max usage out of our products. So very good. I'm glad you pointed that out, Dave. Here on the back of this brochure, it kind of points out where everything's at. You can see it's got a location to mount the wire holders here. It's setting here in the skid. You see the hydraulic cylinder, the HPU on the side, the test band shield. And the skid also has leveling jacks on the corners here, or on 4 sides or 4 locations. Why do we have to have that, or why is it good to have that? Well, a crane has um, outriggers, right, to help level the crane out. Well, it's easy to get that done, but when you just take a skid with no jacks on it and put it out there in the uneven terrain on the right of way, it's not going to be so easy to get it mounted. And so with these jacks, what it helps you to do is helps you to be able to level out the skid to where it's going to be level with the boom on the crane. So that this way you can makes it much easier to mount it to the boom tip. So that's why those jacks are very important. If we were doing this on a parking lot or a street, it would be easier to mount without the jacks, of course. But with when you're out there in the real world scenarios where you're on the right of way and the ground is uneven, the jacks are going to play a very big part in helping get all of this mounted to the end of the crane. And it also has a toolbox to throw some straps in or other extra pins or what have you. Okay. Again, comes with the radio remote control. The lineman in the bucket or someone on the ground or the crane operator can have that control with them. When you get the crane up into the right position, then you use the radio remote for the HLL to articulate the fiberglass up and down to get it into the right position. Again, with the HLL 4,000 and 8,000, because of its high capacity and every application, this is how you're going to use it for the most part. Is going to be straight up and down. That's going to get your max capacity. Okay. Again, you're working with high voltages. You're not low to the ground. We're talking 230, 345, or even higher. Whatever 10-foot of clear span fiberglass will get you as far as your clear span. If you're comfortable doing anything shorter than the 10-foot or greater than 345 with the 10-foot, and your company allows it, it would be no problem on our end. Again, we offer it by the clear span length, not necessarily by the KV rating. So that is the LL and the HLL. At this point, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and go out to the shop floor. This is where I was saying you're going to get a chance to see a product that we're going to be releasing, or one of the family members of the product that we're going to be releasing at the show. So the one that we have on the shop floor is for research purposes. And then we are going to have probably 4 or 5 of this product that I'm about to show you as we continue to grow this family. So let's go out there to the shop floor and let's take a look. Heather is someone that always helps with doing these webinars that we do. She is our marketing specialist, digital marketing specialist. And I can't control this thing very good. And I'm going to give it over to Heather here. Just give me a minute. Let's see here. And she's hiding behind me, by the way, I'm sure. And here we go. All right, let's go out into the shop. So this is our brand new. Is it seeing it okay? Brand new 60,000 square foot facility located here in Waco, Texas. We've been in here probably a few months, maybe 6 months now. We got assembly over there for some products, weld departments or weld sections back here. And right up there on the shelf that she's showing you now, the camera's pointed at, is what some people call line cart or spacer cart. We are developing our own version of spacer carts and line carts. At Utility Expo, we will be displaying our first ever LineWise spacer cart, and it's going to be for the static line. Yeah, somebody wants to use it on a static line, and that's what we're doing. And that's going to be at Utility Expo this coming September, early October, or at least the last week of September that we're going to be there. So make sure that you're there to check out that new product. Like I said, this is the first of several spacer carts that LineWise is going to be putting out. So we're going to have that small one, non-motorized. And then we're also going to have the motorized version. It may be gas, it may be electric.
but we're going to have different versions. And so if you're looking for spacer carts, then give us a shout. We're going to be able to help you out there. A lot of people have gotten out of that business. Maybe it wasn't big enough for them, but for us at LineWise, we got so many different products. We can be successful at selling all of them. We're not just selling spacer carts. We're not just selling line lifters, triple line lifters. We're selling baskets for cranes. We're selling guard structures, all kinds of different things. So that's what gives us the upper hand. So that being said, this here is an LL-6-4500. So it's a manual version. It doesn't have the H in it, right? So the LL-6-4500 means that it's a manual line lifter. It's 6 foot of clear span from the test band shield to inside the corona ring here. So whatever you're comfortable or whatever your company standards are for working with 6 foot of clear span fiberglass, that's what you can use here. So this particular unit was used, I believe, on 230 kV at a customer's location here in Texas. And so again, we have the adapter, which is this portion here, mounts to the boom truck crane with these pins. And then you can have a custom adapter for your boom truck crane that you have. Simply pull this pin out while supporting that in. And then you would use another material handler of some sort of digger derrick, another crane, what have you, or some really strong dudes on the other end, which I don't recommend that, to move this up and down to the right hole. Put the pin in, and then you're at your new angle. Now, why would you change the position? Well, perhaps you want the crane to be up like this and the line lifter to be out like that. It's flexible to work with different boom angles. The same thing for here. Once you position this angle here, then you want to position this angle on the wire holder. Okay. Now on this wire holder, what we have is a vertical bundle, right? So some people say vertical bundles aren't in certain parts of the country. I don't know. I know that there's horizontal bundles as well, and there's vertical bundles. In this case, this particular customer wanted a vertical bundle, and so it would hold them. I think this was about 12-inch centers from here to here. And then you got the gravity gate like we use with everything else on our other products, so that the conductor stays in here and can't get out. When you get ready to release it, you reach out with the hot stick, lift up on here, and both gates open up at the same time. And then the crane operator can move out of the way of the conductors and they would just come out. Again, the different pin and different holes for the different boom angles that you're working. The other thing is you got the clear span fiberglass arrows. We put that here and back in here to show where the clear span actually starts. As I said, I was going to show you the desk and canister. In this case, it's located right in here. So if you ever had to change it out, you take this knob off. Don't tighten it down with tools or anything like that, because people always crack a piece of glass because they tighten too hard. You pull this out, not like I'm trying to do here. Boy, this is a bad example. So just take a look at the desking canister right there. And then what you would do is you would, so to say, it's just me, it wasn't you would unscrew this back in here. It'd be better if Dave was here.
Yeah, it's that end right there, the end with the gasket.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Thank you for finally talking up, Dave, making me look like that bad like that, buddy. So you would twist this off, pour out the old desiccant, put new desiccant in, and then you would put it back in. Like I said, it's very easy to do. It's not very hard. I make it harder, and we're going to put that back in later. So that being said, that kind of concludes the presentation for today. Like I said, it's a very simple product. There really is an easy way to put that desking canister in there, since that's the first time I've ever taken it out like that. So you just got to kind of hold your tongue just right when you're doing that. So any questions, comments about the line lifter products from LineWise? Dave, anything that I missed?
I think you got it, buddy.
Okay. Anybody else?
You had the comic relief and everything. It was a good meeting.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. See, that's the way you do it. See how easy that was?
Could have been
Okay.
worse. Could have been me.
There you go. All right. If there's no questions, if there's no comments, if you're a customer on the call today, thank you for joining us. Keep in mind, there's all different versions of these line lifters. If you're a manufacturer's rep, thank you for joining us. Find the link on our website, share it with your customers. LineWise is very busy right now. There's a lot of activity going on. Got a lot of sales in. On large products, we're probably getting close to the end of the year on shipments at this point. We got plenty of 1300s in stock. No sales on line lifters just yet that I know of. But we can definitely fit more orders in if you have a need. So don't hold back. If there's no questions, there's no comments. Thank you again for joining us every 3 weeks for these webinars that we're doing. And we want to hear your suggestions on products that you want us to go over. And maybe it's not just the product, maybe it's a certain subject that you think we need to put more emphasis on and explain. We want to hear from you on that. And so please let us know what you think. Let us know what we can do better. We want to hear from you. And again, thank you for joining us. Take your time out of your week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again in 3 weeks. Take care.